Hey guys, it's Tony. Over the course of the next couple of weeks, we're going to talk about some home maintenance tips that you should be adding to your list. We're going to talk to Steve Gaspar of Inspections Plus out of Foxborough, and he's going to tell us some of our inside items to look at. Specifically, we're going to start off with your home heating system and having it serviced before the winter begins.
These systems should be serviced once a year. Oil-fired boilers tend to burn a little more dirty than a gas boiler. What they do is they make a little more soot, a little more carbon buildup, and they're a little higher maintenance than something using gas as a fuel source. So number one, we want to cover the safety items, which is the exhaust pipe, the rust. The fix for this is the exhaust flue up here should just be replaced. Once it's rusted out like that, there's not a whole lot you can do to patch it or repair it. You simply replace it. The next item that should be addressed on this is this system not only makes hot water for your baseboards and the heating of the rooms upstairs, but it also has a device known as a tankless coil on it, which is behind this little box in here. It's a circular device, which inside looks very much like a DNA helix. If you were to take out this system, it has a spiral-like device inside that heats the water as it passes over that coil for all your domestic water, which comes out of this pipe. So these pipes up here are for baseboards. These pipes down here are for your domestic hot water. As you can see, let's turn this up, make it a little warmer. As you can see, this has had a lot of corrosion and a lot of leaking in the past as well. What causes that is the mineral content in the public water that is supplying this house. The mineral content eventually causes a lot of corrosion on the piping inside, causing the system itself from outside to start leaking and be rusty. The side effect of that is you typically don't get very long showers, you don't get very hot showers, and your access to hot water for domestic uses is typically dampered pretty greatly when the system's in this type of condition. It has nothing to do with the boiler down here or the burner. This is specifically for showers and hot water faucets upstairs at sinks. The solution to this is you don't touch this, you bypass it, and you put a hot water storage tank right next to this big box here. And now what you have is a source of water that is stored rather than heating it as it passes over the coils that are no longer adequate. So this main boiler still does all the work. You're still using oil as a fire source to make the flame and boil the water. Now you just have a second device to bypass this to store your hot water, so you can take a half an hour hot long shower if you want, or fill up a bathtub and not have an issue with the supply of the water being restricted. All the other devices on this are responsible for maintaining air pressure and relieving air pressure inside the system and pumping water from here, from the boiler, up around the baseboards. So we have air valves here that allow air to escape. We have an expansion tank here that should sound solid up top, and you should hear a ring on the bottom, which tells me that there is a bladder inside that expands into the open air cavity. And what that does is every time you open a faucet or every time this thing starts to pump water upstairs, there's air pressure that has to escape these closed pipes. The air pressure escapes into this expansion tank, which limits the instances of hearing knocking like this in your pipes. So that's in good shape. The circulator pumps are in fairly good shape. You can see they're different colors. One's got a grayish green color to it, one's black. So one of these has been replaced before as they fail. There's a little bit of rust here, but no active leaking. These are items that are typically also covered on yearly maintenance if you go on a service contract with the heating contractor. Other safety devices, this red box with the little black knob button looking device on it. That's called a Firematic Fusematic. And what that does is the little device here on the end has a temperature sensor in it. And it can detect if there's a fire down here or a safety issue, and cuts power to this device if there ever was to be a fire down here. The other safety device you have on here that does not correlate to fire, but correlates to a backflow of water, is a backflow preventer. If there was ever a water main break on the street, this house is going to want to fill that void out on the street, and this is going to make sure that the water never gets sucked out of the bottom of this bucket inside the cast iron system, back out to the street, or backfilling into the rest of the plumbing in the house. So all the devices we need on it are here. I would say this system has lacked some maintenance, but certainly should have some life left in it. So once we put it through its paces, make sure it turns on and operates, it should be operational and functional and should have some life left in it. However, the items we just covered should be addressed on a fall maintenance list or any maintenance item list you're going to make for your house any time of year. Great stuff to go over, and these are all pretty straightforward items that any good heating contractor can take care of in probably only an hour or two of a standard service call.